Friday Night Baseball is presented by Kawasaki Terex. It's the start of a week-long homestand for the Minnesota Twins, 3 with the Detroit Tigers and 3 with the Oakland A's. And the Twins, who started a very successful road trip with 2 wins in Detroit, will try to continue their success against the preseason favorite in the American League Central. Dick and Bert with you from Target Field, the opening game of a 3-game series. And it turned out to be a pretty good road trip for the Twins, 5 wins, and it all started with a 2-game sweep in Detroit.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of good things happened on this road trip for the Minnesota Twins. We saw a lot of home runs. We saw a lot of power coming off the bench. In the 5-3 record, the club hit 273. The biggest thing is the average with runners in scoring position. When the Twins had a chance to take advantage of some of the errors by the opponents on the road trip, they took advantage of it.
Can it be that simple? The last road trip before this, Justin Morneau was out of the lineup. The Twins had a hard time getting hits and scoring runs. He's in the lineup and runs come easy.
What a difference his bat makes in the lineup on the road trip. 4 home runs. He drove in 12 runs and a mammoth home run last night in Chicago. Oh, yeah, and by the way, in the 9th inning, he hit another one. Big deal.
Nice to have Morneau back in the lineup. The Tigers, as I said, the preseason pick to not only win the division, but win it handily. A funny thing has happened to the Coronation Ball. The Tigers are struggling right now, and right now are looking up at the Cleveland Indians like everybody else.
Well, you look at the Indians, they're playing very good baseball. Don't expect the Tigers to stay where they are. They're 8-10 in the division. Last year they were 50-22, a key to this ball club. So many games played within a division. Jim Leyland has said, you know what? We're just not hitting right now. They're over the last 2 weeks are making some errors, but the biggest thing, they're not hitting with runners on base. They left 30 runners on base in that 3-game sweep that the Indians had over the Tigers.
Twins will hand the ball to Anthony Swarzak tonight, hoping that he can put the Twins in the right direction at the start of this 6-game homestand. Anthony Swarzak against the Tigers when we come back. Fox Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
Welcome back to downtown Minneapolis. A cool, cloudy night greets the Twins and the Tigers in the first of three here this week. And Anthony Swarzak gets the ball from Ron Gardner. In the past, he's been good in spot start duty, but as we take a look at the numbers, dramatically better this year when he comes out of the bullpen. The numbers as a starter, well, frankly, they're just not pretty. 3 starts, 0-3, an ERA of over 6. You can see that by comparison, when he comes out of the bullpen, check out the batting average. The opponents have nearly half. We talked to pitching coach Rick Anderson about the mentality that Swarzak needs to have tonight.
You know, Swarzak, he's kind of understanding what it's all about up here, and it's just not powering guys and trying to blow people away. It's pitching. Sometimes you got to pitch backwards, but it's got to use all your pitches. And you see, the only time Swarzak really gets in trouble when he gets macho and tries to hump up and blow people away. And you know, he's got a good enough fastball, but if you keep seeing it enough, they're going to get it. But when he's at his best, he uses all his pitches, and obviously pitching ahead. But when he uses them all, he's pretty darn good.
Swarzak will be opposed by the left-hander Drew Smiley. The Tigers come in struggling. Can the Twins keep them in the loss column? Swarzak gets the ball tonight. Twins and Tigers next on Fox Sports North.
In a free fall down the central standings. Just 10 days later, they return to Twins territory, a confident club. The bats have been providing the pop, and clutch hitting has become contagious. Tonight, they look to bring their recent road success home as they try to tame the Tigers at Target Field. And the Tigers were tamed at Comerica Park at the start of the last road trip. The Twins won both games there. Joe Mauer and the Twins hoping to put together a good homestand. It's been so long since the Twins have had a winning homestand of any length. They finished the season last year by winning 2 out of 3 at home. But for a week or longer homestand, you have to go back to before the All-Star break last year to find a winning homestand for the Twins.
Well, let's hope it happens this homestand.
Here's the Menards batting order for Jim Leland and the Tigers. Quinton Berry leading off. Andy Dirks batting second. Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, Delman Young, Brennan Bosch, Johnny Peralta, Alex Avila, and Ryan Rayburn.
And it'll be Anthony Swarzak on the mound, making his 4th start, his 13th appearance of the year for Swarzak. I mentioned before in the pregame, one of the hardest things for me, Dick, is to do what Anthony Swarzak's trying to do. And that's in and out of the rotation. He's been so valuable to the bullpen, as Greg, we showed you in the pregame. But the Twins need a starter right now.
Northland Fort defense for the Twins. Trevor Plouffe in left, Denard Span in center, Ben Revere in right. Jamie Carroll, Brian Dozier, Alexi Casilla, Justin Morneau around the infield, and Joe Mauer behind the plate. I was curious to get here with all the rain that this region got over the weekend, or during the week, I should say, to see what this field looked like. Talking with the groundskeepers, who I've gotten to know pretty well over the last couple of weeks. They said that about 3.5 inches of rain fell on this field the other night, and by morning it was all gone, all drained through the system and securely put away in the cistern.
Yeah, such a beautiful stadium and Target Field.
Will Swarzak on the mound. Quinton Berry will be the leadoff man for the Tigers in the absence of Austin Jackson.
Yeah, Austin Jackson just put on a disabled list. That could be a big loss for the Detroit Tigers. Jackson having an outstanding year, but here's Quinton Berry getting an opportunity. 2 hits in 8 at-bats so far, just getting called up, and both the hits doubles.
One of them was a bunt double. He tried to bunt his way aboard. He popped it up. It landed in front of the second baseman, then bounced past the second baseman into short right field. Berry runs very well, and he was able to stretch that bunt into a double.
Yeah, guy you want to swing the bat. Good changeup right there by Swarzak. In the minor leagues, Berry 261 stolen bases. He's been in the minor leagues for a long time, getting an opportunity here with the Tigers.
2-1. Now 3-1.
Swarzak coming into the ball game 32 in the third innings, only 8 walks. He has struck out 19.
Swing and a foul, 3-2.
Swarzak, 26 years old, in his 3rd season with the Twins. Came up in 2009. Did not appear in the Twins uniform in 2010, but the last 2 years he has.
And he walks Berry, leading off the ballgame. They were thinking in Detroit that Jackson found with the Tigers what Curtis Granderson found in New York, that his game was really coming together. And he injured his abdominal muscle in the series at Comerica Park against the Twins. Tried to play through it, rest it, and try to come back, but he just couldn't do it.
Oh, look at the numbers. Hitting .331. This is a leadoff hitter right here. He can create a lot of havoc on the base paths.
Here's Andy Dirks. Strike one.
Dirks getting an opportunity to play, making the most out of it in his 2nd season with the Tigers. Last year only played in 78 ball games, hit .251, 7 home runs, but he's got 4 already and hitting .321.
Slide step and a called strike 2. Dirks hitting well. The Tigers made the decision over a month ago that they had much better outfield defense with Dirks there than with Delman Young.
Yeah, Delman now the everyday designated hitter for Jim Leyland. And keep an eye on Berry at first base.
And Dirks strikes out on 3 pitches after Berry drew the leadoff walk.
Good fastballs right there by Swarzak. Early in the ball game, this is the pitch you want to establish. The good fastball. Just threw that ball right past Dirks. And a quick step home, too. Doesn't allow Berry to get a very good jump. That little slide step that Swarzak shows toward home plate.
Miguel Cabrera will hit with Berry at first and 1 down. Big swing on a breaking pitch. Cabrera's numbers still very good, even though the hitters around him haven't produced as the Tigers had hoped. Dozier steps on the bag and a double play.
Pitcher's best friend.
A leadoff walk, but Swarzak faces just 3 men in the inning. For the Twins has Denard Span leading off. Ben Revere hitting second. Joe Mauer third. Josh Willingham sliding into the DH spot. Morneau back at first base. Brian Dozier, Trevor Plouffe, Alexi Casilla, and Jamie Carroll.
And left-handed pitcher Drew Smiley on the mound for the Tigers, making just his 9th major league start. Of course, his first one against the Twins. But he started off awesome. His first 6 starts, he was 1-0 with a very good 1.59 ERA. Last couple starts, he has struggled a little bit. But this young man, they're very high on the Tigers, very high on this lefty.
Quentin Berry can go get it in center. He's got Bosch on one side, Dirks on the other. Cabrera, Peralta, Rayburn, Fielder, Avila on the Northland Ford Tiger defense for Jim Leland. It'll be Span, Revere, and Mauer trying to get something started here against Drew Smiley.
Yeah, the scouting report on Smiley, he'll clock maybe 92, 93 tops, but it's his breaking ball. Very good, slow breaking ball, very good changeup.
Span takes down on away ball 1. At the knees, a strike.
Smiley, just 22 years old, signed by the Tigers in 2010. Did not pitch for the Tigers in 2010 in the minor leagues, only last year. So he's made the jump to the major leagues very quickly.
Blasted to the gap in right center field. Span's going to run for a while. A hard carom to Berry in center field, and Denard Span smokes a double to start the ball game.
Well, a fastball left out over the plate, and Denard did not miss it. His 11th double of the year. It looked like it might be a triple where he hit this ball, but normally you see sometimes that ball hits the padding and stops. This time it hit the padding, maybe because Span hit it so hard, it kind of caromed back to Berry. See the speed of Berry trying to catch up with his ball, and then it hit the cement underneath, and the ball caromed back. If that hits the padding and may stop, Span may have been able to get a triple.
Now Ben Revere will hit. So a promising start for the Twins with a double from Denard Span. Revere puts his hand up the bat barrel and takes ball 1.
Well, Ben did this the other night when Span led off with a double, and inning with a double. He just pushed the ball towards second base, advanced Span over to third. Fielder in on the grass, as Cabrera is. Fielder at first, Cabrera at third.
Outside 2-0. One thing that was exposed in the 2-game series in Detroit, fielder at first has some fielding issues. Cabrera can't be expected to field at third at the Gold Glove caliber level because he hasn't played there for the last several years. Hard ground ball, and it bleeds through. Span will have to hold at second base. The ball was actually hit behind him, and Span decided to retreat to second, and then once it got to the outfield, he had to stay put.
You see Ben Revere kind of tapping his chest. Sorry, I'm trying to hit that ball to second base, but the ball hit sharply. Watch Bernard Span. He doesn't know whether to go or because the shortstop is right behind him in Peralta. And you saw Barry again utilizing his speed on coming up quickly, so Span had to stay around second.
Here's Mauer. Hit a home run in the ball game last night and has the average just over 300.
I remember about 10 days ago everybody was saying, Joe's hitting 260s. What happened? What's wrong with Joe Mauer? Well, that average at 301 now. Hit his second home run of the year yesterday in Chicago, straightaway center.
One strike to Mauer. Breaking ball, strike two.
Yeah, that's that slow curveball right there by Smiley. Smiley signed by the Tigers out of the University of Arkansas.
Twins trying to break through in the bottom of the first. The ball landed 3-4 feet in front of the plate. It was blocked by Avila, and it's 1-2.
Well, Joe Mauer on the road trip. Look at that, hit 433 with a home run. 4 extra base hits on that road trip and drove in 5 runs.
And there weren't many hits that were pulled. The hits going up the middle and to left field. Looking for a hit here to get Span in from second base. Fouled back. 1-2. Twins fans want this, and it's easier said than done. They just want the team to hit the ball at home like they did on the road. We got 2 base hits to start the ball game, now hoping for a third from Mauer.
Well, you don't know when it might happen, Dick. I think what we saw in Detroit was, Detroit made some errors. Twins took advantage of it. They scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings in game 1 there. All of a sudden, hitting became contagious.
Off the plate, 2-2.
We showed you the ERA of the staff on the road at, I think, a 5.5, somewhere like that. But that was because of 2 games that were, where the staff gave up 11 runs. Other than that, they pitched pretty well.
Double play ball. Peralta fires high, and Mauer's safe. He evaded the tag of Prince Fielder, and Mauer's lucky he didn't pull a leg muscle. He had to stagger and lean out of the way, and the Tigers had a tailor-made double play, but didn't turn it.
Well, when you're struggling, these little plays right there have to be made. Johnny Peralta, he has been outstanding at short. Came into the ball game only 1 error on the year. And it looks like a tailor-made double play, but the throw high, and Fielder has to go up and get it. And Mauer able to avoid the tag and not hurting himself while stepping on that bag. An error cannot be charged on that play. Watch Joe right there avoid the tag, but whoa.
He could have done something to his right leg, his left leg, anything in between.
His Achilles right there by the way he landed.
So another Tiger fielding mistake, and reason you can't charge an error is you can't assume a double play, but if you ever could have assumed a double play, it would have been on that ground ball. Here's Willingham. Another nice dig by Avila.
Willingham still leading the club in runs batted in with 27. tied with Justin Morneau with 8 home runs.
White Sox tried to get Willingham out with breaking pitches on the outside corner from right-handed pitchers or off the plate. Different challenge here for the lefty. Strike, 1-1.
Yeah, in that series in Chicago, Josh Willingham just 1 for 12. Did drive in a couple runs.
The big base hit in front of Morneau's home run. One and one. 2-1. Willingham has seen the average drop down to 275. We need to remind ourselves he's a career 260 hitter, not a 300 hitter like he was for the first 6 weeks. He has a hitter's count here, 2-1. Another breaking pitch to even the count.
Yeah, good pitch right there by Smiley in a fastball situation. Pulled the string and Willingham out front. What the Twins would like to get out of Josh is what they got last year when he was with the Oakland A's. 29 home runs and drove in 98 runs.
Looking for his 28th run batted in here. Took it. Checked his swing. It was a close pitch, and it's ball 3. Now, what do you do with Mauer? Willingham strikeout prone. Mauer doesn't run particularly well.
Close pitch right there, lower part of the strike zone. And Smiley, who came into this ball game with 44 strikeouts in 43 2/3 innings, could have got a strikeout right there.
Mauer stays put, and Willingham takes ball 4, and they're loaded up for Morneau. In his last 3 at-bats last night in Chicago, Morneau crushed 3 balls for 3 extra base hits.
Oh, this man is hot. I mean, that's against a lefty right there that he blasted that ball. And then in the 9th inning, I think Ron Coomer made a great, saying that Justin, now you see him holding both hands on the bat. And remember, it's that top hand, the left hand, that he got, he's had trouble with.
Right. Jeff Jones, a pitching coach, out to the mound. In a dangerous spot here. Morneau with the 3 best at-bats in terms of solid contact that we've seen him have since he had the concussion issue in Toronto. I mean, he absolutely blistered the ball 3 times.
Hey, Ron Coomer, I thought that was a good point you brought up. It seemed like on that whole road trip, the hands are together all the way through. What's the difference right there? If he lets it, out after a swing.
Well, I think what's happened, Bert, is he feels comfortable with his wrist. You see right there, both hands on the bat. The one thing in talking with Harmon Killebrew and all the old power hitters, you definitely stay through the ball better in a stronger position. And to me, you look at this last swing, and that's through the ball in powerful position. The one thing Justin did on this last road trip is he took some pitches away. And because that top hand stayed on the bat, he was able to at least pull him to the middle of the field. And we saw that home run last night. That's 450 feet from the plate.
1 strike to Morneau and another foul, and he finds himself behind 0-2. What was particularly encouraging about the first home run, it was against a left-hander. It was also on a fastball. We've seen Justin hit some home runs, and they've been on sliders and changeups, but he caught up to a 94, 95 mile per hour fastball and hit it a long way to center field. Bases full of Twins, 1 out, an 0-2 count to Morneau.
Find out what the youngster strikeout pitch is right here.
Morneau, a little chip shot to Peralta. And that's the 2nd out. Just stuck the bat out to protect the plate. It looked like he might dump one into left field, but it didn't get there.
That's a location of this pitch right here by Smiley. A very good breaking ball down and away. And watch Justin's reaction. Just kind of a half swing, and Peralta able to take a couple steps back to catch the 2nd out. Everybody had to hold their bases.
So in the inning, a double, a single, a walk, 3 runners out there, but with 2 out, it'll be left to Dozier to get the Twins on the scoreboard. dirt, and another nice scoop by Avila.
Dozier on a road trip hit 250, 8 hits in 32 at bats with a home run, and he drove in 6 runs.
At the knees, 1-1. Tigers had plenty of situations like this in Cleveland and came up empty, just 3 for 28 with men in scoring position. And now the Twins hoping to get a big 2-out hit from Dozier.
Well, that's what the Twins were able to do on that road trip, get some big 2-out hits.
There's one.
Like that.
Toward the corner. Span will score. Mauer rather will score. Willingham to third, and Dozier drives in a pair with a double. And the Tigers' inability to turn that double play really bites them.
You know what? That's what happens when you're not on all cycles, and the Twins took advantage of that. Breaking ball right into the swing of Dozier, and he hits it sharply down that left field line, picking up his 11th and 12th Major League RBIs. Span kicking that bat out of the way as Mauer scores the second run of the inning. So a big 2-run double by Brian Dozier.
And now Trevor Plouffe. Inside, ball 1. 25 pitches for Smiley. He's given up a pair of doubles, 3 hits. These 2 runs and any subsequent runs will be unearned runs, but as the Twins found out in the ball game yesterday, it doesn't matter. They count just as much as the earned runs. The Twins didn't play very tidy defense in Chicago and lost a couple of games because of it. Three and 0 with Casilla on deck.
We talked a little bit about in the pregame about Drew Smiley over his last couple starts, 9 2/3 innings, 8 runs allowed, and he allowed 4 home runs. So he's been struggling a little bit, but prior to that, his first 6 major league starts, outstanding.
Plouffe takes. It's 3-1.
He did not get a lot of run support in his first major league 6 starts. He was 1-0 with an ERA at 1.59. Came into this ballgame after the last 2 shaky starts at 2.89.
Popped up a foul ball, and it will reach the seats, 3-2. So you're Smiley, and you break through in the major leagues, and you figure the last concern you'd have pitching for the Tigers would be run support, but that's the way the season's gone for Detroit this year.
This will be pitch number 30.
Three and 2 to Plouffe. Fly ball right field. Bosch back, now in. Couple of doubles, 3 hits, and a couple of runs for the Twins as they've given Anthony Swarzak an early 2-0 lead.
2-0 here at Target Field. Time for our Car Soup question of the night. You can always add a question to the broadcast by going to carsoup.com. Tonight's question comes from Earl Lewis in Albertville, who would like to know why Brian Dozier is rocking the old school socks. He's the only guy out there that is, and I had a conversation with Brian Dozier this afternoon. Earl, and told me an interesting story. He's playing college baseball down at Southern Miss, the former stomping ground of former Vikings quarterback Brett Favre, and he did it the first year. His college coach didn't like it. He switched away from it, but he lost his mojo in the batter's box. He talked the coach into going back to it for his senior year, had a big year, and he's done it ever since. And when I saw him today taking the field, he turned to me and said, you know what? It's all about the Sox. Dick and Bert, so far the Sox are rocking it pretty well. He socked a 2-run double. Twins lead 2-0.
Yeah, Sox 2, Tigers nothing. 1 strike to Prince Fielder. And that's punched over the head of the third baseman Carroll, and Fielder is aboard with a leadoff single.
Yeah, I watched the game last night, Dick. Cole DeFreeze, I thought he pitched a good ball game. He's another one that kind of wears his, shows his socks. So,
hey, good to have you back, too. You took some time off. Ron Coomer did a great job filling in, but good to have you back.
Yeah, I'll thank Ron Coomer for that. I do have to talk to Ron Coomer about my telestrator, though. He needs to stop drinking coffee during the ball game, because he was pretty shaky.
Here is Delman Young, the designated hitter for Detroit. Swarzak got a double play grounder off the bat of Cabrera to get out of the first inning after a leadoff walk. Breaking ball over.
And that's what pitching coach Rick Anderson wants Swarzak to do, is don't just throw that fastball over for strike one. Mix in some breaking balls and then mix in the fastball. In a good location.
Down and away, 1-1.
Try down and away. If you miss down and away.
Young off to a slow start in his first full year with the Tigers. Granted, he's had some other things on his mind. Base hit to center. And Fielder will go to second and hold up there. So the Tigers get a couple of hits. And now they've got a man in scoring position. And that's been one of the issues for the Tigers. What happens in situations like this?
It looked like a changeup or something up, and Delman took it right back up the middle.
Brennan Bosch, powerful left-handed hitter. Swarzak got a strikeout and a double play grounder in the first inning. Keep the Tigers off the board. Driven deep to right center field. And off the wall. Span plays the carom. Fielder will score. And Young was about 30 feet behind him. I'm not sure where Prince Fielder thought that ball was going to hit, but it was evident from the point of contact that ball was not going to be caught.
I'm surprised Delman Young, who got a pretty good jump on this. He knows his field. He knows that this ball is downright going to maybe go out or hit off the wall, that he did not score. Denard Span attacking that ball after it hit that scoreboard and got it back in quickly. But for Bosch, his 8th double of the year, driving in his 17th and 18th run. Excuse me, his 17th run.
So it's 2-1 with Bosch hitting a rocket, tying run at third, nobody out, and here's Johnny Peralta. Curve and a half swing and a strike. Peralta loves hitting in this ballpark. 65 at bats. He's got 8 extra base hits, 5 home runs, and he hits .369 here.
Yeah, he's one guy that Jim Leland would like to see pick it up a little bit. Only 2 home runs on the year, 21 last year. Hit a career high .299.
Off the plate, 1-1.
There's Jim Leland in his 7th season as skipper of the Detroit Tigers.
Straight up in the air. Morneau in foul ground for the first out. And that'll bring up Alex Avila.
Even on that play right there, Peralta's got to hit that ball in the air in the outfield or something. That looked like a hanger he got underneath. So Swarzak got away with a pitch. Peralta popped it straight up.
Avila off to a slow start. Twins play the infield back with Young at third. If it's hit up the middle to either Casilla or Dozier, Tigers will get the tying run. Fouled away.
Avila, 25 years old, in his fourth season with the Tigers. Last year, 19 home runs in 141 games. He was a workhorse behind that plate for the Tigers. And he hit .295.
Called strike, 0-2. It's hard to label Swarzak a strikeout pitcher. He got a big one in the first inning. And if he could get Avila here, it would be an even bigger strikeout.
Yeah, especially in this count right now, 0-2. You start thinking, okay, how can I get that strikeout? Now, he took that fastball inside like, you know, he thought that was in. Do they go back in again? He tried to, but he left that out over the plate. You have to tell yourself as a pitcher, if you're going to miss, you miss inside. Watch Mauer move at the last second with runners at second base, and you saw where that ball was right there. That's danger zone. I would want to go back in there again right away. I would tell myself if I miss this time, I have to go hard in.
2 strikes to Avila.
Better pitch. Oh boy. Good pitch.
Right under the chin of home plate umpire Todd Tishner.
Let's see what Tishner gives him. Absolutely nothing. That's a great pitch right there.
So now 1-2.
Boy, you make a good pitch like that. Runners at second, third, 1 out. You don't get rewarded for it. That's a shame.
Tying run at third. That's Delman Young. He was stopped there by Gene Lamont on the Bosch double. One and 2 to Avila. Out a piece of the fastball. Well, they're feeding him plenty of fastballs here. 92, 93 mile per hour's worth.
Swarzak mixes in a slider and a curveball. Maybe the curveball down and in. You mentioned Jay. I wouldn't change up on him right here. I would throw that hard breaking ball down that Joe has to almost block down and in. See if Avila will swing through it. And that's what they're talking about right here. He's still a little slow on that fastball, so if you throw a changeup right here, you allow the barrel of the bat to get out and maybe create a ground ball up the middle that might tie the score. Got to go with that hard breaking ball down and in.
And Avila asks for time. Foul tip. That kept the at-bat alive.
And that did look like the changeup down and away. Good location, though. Very good location. Had a little sink on it.
One and 2 to the Tiger catcher. Bounced foul down the line. First base umpire Alan Porter The skip out of the way. Well, the Tigers do have a hit. Bosch's ringing double. With a man in scoring position. Here's Morneau trying to cut that ball off.
That ball just going foul. It looked like Avila was set up for that fastball down and in, too. That's why I said that breaking ball that looks like a fastball and then darts straight down.
All the while confident your catcher can block it if it's in the dirt. And there it was, and Avila spit on it.
Yeah, it didn't start high enough. You want to start that maybe about knee high and then down and in. That was too low.
Quite a battle here between the Minnesota pitcher and the Tiger catcher, and it's just the second inning.
Swarzak throwing strikes, 27 pitches, 19 for strikes. 9 pitches. This will be a 9th pitch in this at bat.
My math tells me there have been 4 2-strike fouls.
Good.
Two and 2. And now 3 and 2 with Rayburn on deck. It's handed Swarzak a quick 2-0 lead, and the Tigers quickly got 3 hits in the top of the second inning. All right, 3-2. He's thrown everything at him. What does he throw at him here?
I throw that breaking ball right here. I try to freeze him. You have to have confidence in your secondary pitch right here. He's sitting on a fastball.
To right center field and hooking to the gap. A big hit for Avila. It'll put the Tigers in front 3-2. A great at bat. And the Tigers get another hit with men in scoring position. 2 of them this inning. They got 3 in the whole series in Cleveland.
Yeah, 9 pitches in that at bat, and finally he got the fastball left out over the plate, and Avila took advantage of it. It might have been a changeup right there. Avila waited back nicely. Again, he didn't have real good swings at the fastball, so they softened it up a little bit and allowed Avila to get the barrel of the bat out. Big 2-run double, his 5th double of the year. And the Tigers lead 3-2.
4 hits in the inning. The number 9 batter Rayburn will hit. Jim Leyland for weeks has been saying, look, there's going to come a game. We're going to get some hits with men in scoring position, and then everybody's going to relax. And whether Bosch's double allowed anyone to relax or not, now they've got 2 big hits with men in scoring position. And they've very quickly taken the lead here, 3-2.
Well, Rayburn just coming back and joining the ball club. He was at home down in Florida, attending his grandmother's funeral. When Austin Jackson put on a disabled list, Rayburn was reactivated.
A very slow start after a torrid spring training, but slow start's nothing new for Rayburn. A chance to play at second base on a daily basis. Tigers have also had him out there in the outfield. 1-2.
Swarzak making his 3rd career start against the Tigers, his 6th appearance. A career 0-1 record with a 7.62 ERA against the Tigers in the 5 previous appearances.
And Rayburn called out on strikes for out number 2.
Well, Rayburn definitely looking for something else. A fastball out over the plate. Swarzak picks up his 2nd strikeout.
Saturday on Baseball Night in America, Carlos Ruiz and the Phillies will be in St. Louis battling Carlos Beltran and the Cardinals. As the Cardinals look to keep pace atop the National League Central. Baseball Night in America presented by Chevrolet beginning Saturday at 6, only on Fox. 2 gone, and here's Quintin Berry. Drew a walk against Swarzak to start the ball game, and a breaking ball flip foul. Barry walked and was doubled up on a Cabrera ground ball 2 at bats later. Breaking ball missing.
See a lot of off-speed pitches from Swarzak. I don't see the good aggressive fastball. There's a good fastball.
And he didn't get the call. Go back to that pitch that he threw to Avila and didn't get the call, 3rd strike on that fastball, and ended up allowing Avila to extend the at bat and get the 2-run double. Now 3-1. It's not been a good, obviously an inning, but it just doesn't seem like Swarzak's had much command of anything in the 2 innings so far.
Well, I think Tishner, the home plate umpire, has, kind of given the Tigers a couple pitches that should have been called strikes. I see where he's sitting right over the inner half of the plate.
And that's under the glove of Carroll. It'll score Avila. And the Tigers lead 4-2. Barry to second, and he is out of there. Trevor Plouffe throwing to Casilla to get Barry. The run counts. It's a 4-run second inning for Detroit.
Second base, and Quentin Barry trying to get his 3rd major league hit on his 3rd double, but tagged out at second base. Now Barry with the RBI single picks up his 1st major league RBI. What is the final out right here? And almost a sweet tag, but called out.
Well, the Tigers have scored enough anyway. They had 4 runs in the inning. Now they lead the Twins by 2, and Casilla will lead off the second inning. Up and away, ball 1. Want to pass along our sincerest get well wishes to Gavin Pearson, who's at Minneapolis Children's Hospital. And Gavin, we know you're a big Twins fan, and we wish you the best of luck. Come see us at Target Field here as soon as you can.
I just talked to Gavin's grandfather the other day, and I sent him a picture. That'll really cheer him up.
Picture of what?
Of me.
Oh, wow.
I know. Scary.
Busted back grounder to second, 1 down.
Hey, yippee-ki-yay, partner.
I'm wearing my boots tomorrow. Twins and We Fest Country Music Festival team up to bring back the Twins cowboy hat tomorrow. Twins and Tigers at it at 1 o'clock. The first 10,000 fans will get the cowboy hat. All 833 Twins, or visit twinsbaseball.com and lasso your tickets for the game against Detroit tomorrow afternoon.
How many pair of cowboy boots
I
do you
have three. I have three pair.
Have three. Mine are down in Florida, though. So
well, I'm gonna wear the black pair if the Twins lose, because I'll be in mourning, and I'll wear the tan pair if they win.
I think you probably look better in tan, so let's hope you wear the tan.
Okay. Here's Jamie Carroll, 1-0. And now 2-0. Carroll and then Denard Span as the Twins try to wrestle back the lead from Drew Smiley and the Tigers. 3-0.
Well, Smiley started the season down in AAA Toledo. That's the AAA affiliate for the Detroit Tigers. Called up when Fisher was put on a disabled list. Doug Fister, excuse me.
Carroll has walked 19 times and struck out 19 times. And he's got a 3-1 count. 3-2. That's a foul pop that'll reach the seats.
You know, Jamie Carroll started the season at shortstop, and then when Brian Dozier came up, you have to tip your hat to Jamie Carroll. You know, his whole career has pretty much been a utility type player, but he has really kind of taken Brian Dozier underneath his wing and helped him kind of get through, you know, his rookie season. That's what veterans do. They pass the baton.
A foul back, and he's taken over most games at third base at a time when the Twins really need somebody. It's not just that Danny Valencia was sent down, but his backup Sean Burroughs was sent down to the minor leagues before Valencia was. So, you know, other than Trevor Plouffe, there really aren't many options at third base other than Carroll. And Carroll fouls a couple of 2-strike pitches away and ends up with a 1-out walk.
Fans, go to foxsportsnorth.com and click on the Circle Me Bert to submit an email on why your sign should be circled like those signs right there in an upcoming home game, and have a chance to visit us up here in the booth. We'll reveal 2 of the sections the morning before each game. One will be listed on foxsportsnorth.com and the other on kfan.com, KFAN.
Painesville about halfway between Roscoe and Howick. Not too far from Lake Henry.
I was on KFAN this morning with PA, talking a little Twins baseball.
Painesville about halfway between St. Cloud and Wilmer. Span drilled a double to right center field his first time up, and then scored on the Dozier double.
I've been to Painesville on the Winter Caravan.
Have you?
Mm-hmm. Nice people up there.
You kind of had a caravan stop while we were in Chicago. You went up to Aiken, right?
Yeah, sure did. I had a nice evening up in Aiken, and I did ask about Mr. Clapp.
Kevin Clapp, the guy who caught the only hard-hit ball I had in high school.
And he moved south. He no longer lives there.
Good.
But the people did remember of that great catch.
Span drives one to the other gap. And that is blocked by the left fielder, Dirks. And Span has hit 2 line shots in his first 2 at-bats.
Watch the play, though, the way that Dirks plays this ball. You know, I don't think he could have gotten it, but boy, he just takes his body and says, okay, I'm going to knock this ball down with my body. Good swing by Span. Dirks kind of like, okay, I'm not going to let this ball get behind me. And he just utilized his body to knock that ball down, and maybe got part of that right hand.
Well, the Twins answering back with a 1-out walk and single. And now here's Revere. Revere singled up the middle his first time up, taking a strike. Dribbled up the right side. It's going to be interesting. Interesting because Fielder got to the bag first, and then we were wondering how Revere was going to miss colliding with the big man.
Well, you knew this was going to be a foot race right here because Smiley, the pitcher, he was a little late getting over there, falling off toward the third base side. And watch Revere hustle down that line, and Fielder just able to get. Wow, here he comes.
Ben Revere came very close to being the bug on the windshield here.
Get out of the way.
Well, here's Mauer, and a hit to the outfield should tie the game. Mauer hit a ground ball to short his first time up. Outside, ball one. Well, the Tigers put together a 4-run top of this inning. The Twins got their 2 runs in the first on a 2-out hit, looking for another one here from Mauer. Inside, 2-0.
Hey, Ron Coomer, you know, on the road trip, they were outstanding as far as these type of situations. Big hit for Joe Mauer if he's able to get it. Yeah, the team really swung the bat well. They got to Chicago, and as Dick and I saw, they're very aggressive at home plate. The one thing about Joe is I really liked his approach. He really tried to wear out the left center to the left field line gap, and that, to me, got him back swinging really well.
Driven to right field. Bosch going back. He makes the catch. Mauer hit a liner to right. Just about everything hit in the inning was hit hard, but the Twins leave 2 in scoring position. By Kawasaki Terex ATV on Fox Sports North. 4-2 Tigers in front. They got 5 hits and 4 runs against Anthony Swarzak in the second inning. Andy Dirks will lead things off. Kind of a curious homestand. 3 with the Tigers, 3 with the A's, but after tonight's game, there are 3 straight 1 o'clock starts. Because of the Memorial Day weekend. Driving in this afternoon, so many people heading out of town for the holiday. We wish everybody safe travels and a happy holiday weekend. A ground ball up the middle of base hit. Dirks on the first pitch gets a single. Swarzak spent so little time in the full windup. The leadoff man has reached in all 3 innings. You can get involved in our broadcast. Let us know who you think will be the Arby's value player of the game. Text the word value, followed by a space in the player's name to short code 234-234. Dozier the leader through 2 innings with his 2-run double accounting for 35% of the vote. Here's Cabrera. Strike 1.
You know, you mentioned that Swarzak's always in the stretch position. And I remember, Dick, I had games like that. It was like, you know, the only time I enjoyed were the 8 pitches that I threw to warm up. I felt like maybe I should just throw these 8 pitches in the stretch position.
High fly to right. Revere backpedaling, circling around it, and making the catch. Well, in any walk of life, it's no fun looking over your shoulder, but when you're looking over your shoulder at base runners all the time. Dirk still at first, 1 out, and here's Prince Fielder. It was Fielder's chip shot into left field that opened the door for the Tigers, and he pounded the ball all over the field in the second inning and scored 4 runs. Off the inside edge, ball 1.
Fielder signing a 9-year contract over the winter with the Tigers.
See if they can get 2. Casilla to Dozier. Double play. So Swarzak, as much as he's wobbled here in the first 3 innings, he's gotten a double play grounder off the bat of Cabrera and now off of Fielder. Brought to you by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. By CenturyLink, a different kind of communications company. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Grand Casino, the best stories start here. Tigers up 4-2, bottom of the 3rd coming up, and Josh Willingham will hit. Then Justin Morneau and Brian Dozier. All facing Drew Smiley. Takes low, ball 1.
Yeah, Smiley again making just his 9th major league start. A lot of pitches in 2+ innings. That was pitch number 50.
Inside 2-0. Mentioned the Tigers were swept in Cleveland. A couple of 2-run losses and a 1-run loss. In the 3 games they were outscored 11-6. This looks to be a different type of series brewing here. 3-0 to Willingham, who walked in the first. When the Twins took the 2 games in Detroit, they outscored the Tigers 15-10. We've already got 6 runs on the board here tonight.
Willingham, a guy that might have the green light right here if it's a fastball to his liking. That was not to his liking.
Apparently not.
Well,
3-1.
Smiley, no strikeouts in the ballgame. He does have a couple walks. He's given up 4 hits.
Grounded to the right side, weakly to fielder. One away.
Right off the end of the bat.
Justin Morneau to pop up his first time up. Facing a left-hander, and when Justin's going good, it really doesn't make much difference, Ron Coomer, whether the pitcher's right-handed or left-handed.
No, it really doesn't. And Dick, we saw in Chicago, Sale was very tough against righties and lefties, throwing in the mid-90s. It'd be interesting. Justin get a little jumpy this first at bat. And let's see this at bat. There was no jumpy there. He was looking to jump one right out over the flagpole here in right field. But I always look when you go right on right or left on left, and if you're struggling a little, to see if he's going to shoot one the other way. This is a fastball right in the middle, and he's letting her rip.
Off the plate, 1-1. Saw Justin during batting practice. I said, hey, it was good to see that yesterday. He said it was good to do it.
Well, you saw Smiley right there. Two good fastballs, and then the hard breaking ball.
Off the end of the bat.
And it came back with the same hard breaking ball. Great location. You leave that middle in, that's where Justin will turn the wind around over to the right field fence.
One and two. And they're saying strike three. Morneau is rung up, although he thought he foul tipped the pitch into the dirt. Instead, it's strike three.
Well, last three pitches breaking ball. This one a little bit lower, and Justin saying that, hey, didn't I tick that ball? And Todd Tishner behind the plate. No.
Didn't look like he hit it.
No. So Smiley striking out his first batter.
The two down, that'll bring up Brian Dozier. He drove in the two Twins runs with a 2-out double. Dozier's fourth double of the year. He's got a couple of home runs. Up and away, ball one.
Fastball clocked at 94.
Off the plate.
Change up at 81.
Blue Fonda. Three and one. In Dozier's minor league career, he balanced a walk to a strikeout almost evenly throughout his minor league career. That has not been the case here in the big leagues. And now it's 3-2. Dozier with 16 strikeouts and just a couple of walks. He's taken 5 pitches in this plate appearance. Got a piece of it. And I guess in bringing it up, he's experiencing so much for the first time. Eventually, he'd like to and would expect to see the walks catch up to the strikeouts almost.
Once he can take a deep breath. You know, I think everybody that's been called up, they all say, boy, it's a lot faster here this game of baseball. Even Cole, DeFreeze last night said that, you know, the game is so quick up here. Things can happen in a hurry. But, you know, he's a little bit, he's got some Dutch in him. He's got some Dutch in him.
I like him anyway.
So with the 3 home runs, no surprise.
Off the end of the bat, a roller to Rayburn. Dozier retired. Smiley has retired 5 men in a row. Tigers in front 4-2. Twins got the first 2 runs of the ball game. Twins fans in large numbers here tonight. Looks to be close to a sellout crowd here at Target Field. The opener of the 6-game homestand. Delman Young will lead things off in the 4th. We'll see if Swarzak can retire that leadoff man for a change.
Well, good inning in the 3rd inning, even though he threw only 5 pitches, got 3 outs.
Breaking ball, flip foul. A year ago at this time, Delman Young was still wearing a Twins uniform. Tigers claimed Young on waivers. Half swing. I think he went. Nope. 1-1. Tigers claimed him, which is interesting in and of itself. Here are the Tigers in first place last year, and waiver claims are accepted from the bottom to the top. In other words, the team with the worst records get a chance to claim a player before the first place teams do. And so here are the likes of the Orioles and the Royals, all looking for good young talent. There's a strike call in the outside corner, and they all passed on Delman Young, and it was one of the peculiar transactions of the year for me last year. Delman has always been considered to be one of the top run producers, young run producers in the game, but he fell to a first place ball club within the division, 1 down.
Good breaking ball down and away. And our Fox Tracks brought to you by Window Concepts. Good breaking ball down and away, and Swarzak picks up his 3rd strikeout.
Brennan Bosch with an RBI double and a run scored in the 2nd inning. Here's our AT&T trivia question. Who's the only man to manage the Twins and Tigers to division titles? I know the answer to that. We'll let you think about it for a while. Ball 1.
Was he with the Twins in 1969?
Yes.
Managed the Twins.
Another drive to right off the bat of Bosch. Hard off the wall. Revere fires it back in, but Bosch scampers to second with another double. So he is seeing the ball out of Swarzak's hand very well.
That looked like a changeup right there that Bosch stayed back nicely. And hit it off the wall. Good job by Ben Revere playing the carom. Breaking ball right there. Bosch going down and hitting it sharply. And Ben Revere, seeing that he cannot get it, he gets in position to try to play the carom and cut it off nicely, but Bosch in his speed slides in safely.
Here's Johnny Peralta, fouled out to Morneau in the 2nd inning.
Tigers pick up their 7th hit.
3rd double, and it's ball 1 from Swarzak. Ball gets a swing and a miss. 1-1.
Francisco Liriano starting to loosen up. Swarzak at 52 pitches.
Fouled away. 1-2. Tigers got Delman Young from the Twins, Miguel Cabrera from the Marlins, Johnny Peralta from the Indians. All in trades. One and 2 to Peralta. To right center field. Revere to the gap. Makes a running catch. Bosch has to retreat. Oh, Ben Revere covered a lot of ground to haul in that line drive.
Tell you what, Denard Span and Ben Revere, they've been getting some running in here tonight, and Ben Revere with his speed just caught up to that. Looked like that was going to be an extra base hit. But Ben Revere filling the gap very nicely. Nice running catch for the second out.
So 2 are down. Bosch still at second. And here's Alex Avila. It was Avila that had the protracted at bat against Swarzak that resulted in the 2-run double in the second. Swarzak thought he had him struck out once, and Avila kept battling and drove one almost to the spot where Revere just made the catch. And swing and a called strike. And Mauer going to the mound might have been crossed up a little bit. Avila has some words for Todd Tishner. White Sox trying to cool off the Indians. They're leading 3-2 in Chicago in the bottom of the third. One strike to Avila. To the left center field gap. And a ground rule double, I believe. Avila doubling to the right center field gap. Now the left center field gap. And Bosch scores. It's 5-2.
This Tiger offense here tonight, they're splitting the gaps. A lot of balls hit in the gaps. Left center, right center. Avila, his 2-run double in the second inning, went to right center. This one going to left center. So Avila with the RBI makes it a 5-2 ball game.
8 hits for Detroit. Half of them doubles. And here's Ryan Rayburn. Not a good outing for Anthony Swarzak, as he hopes to wrap up the inning by getting the number 9 batter. Curve, foul back.
And I think we've seen this from Swarzak. You know, when he has had the spot starts, it's tough to come in and out of that bullpen. You know, they love his arm. They love his attitude, his bulldog attitude on the mound. But as a starter, he's making his 27th major league start. He is 6-15 with a 5.5 ERA as a starter.
Backhanded by Mauer.
We've talked about this from time to time. You've asked me where I like Swarzak. I like him as a long man. Only because, you know, he hasn't really been. He was given that opportunity last year to make about 11 starts in a row, and it just didn't work out for him. But as a long man, I like him a lot. As a reliever, 25 appearances out of that bullpen. He's got a 3.7 ERA.
Up the middle, a base hit. Avila will round third and come in and score another run at 6-2. So the Tigers, who couldn't get a clutch hit to save their lives in Cleveland, are getting a whole host of them here in the first 4 innings against Anthony Swarzak.
And Ron Gardenhire is going to make the slow walkout, already motioning to the bullpen. We saw Liriano getting loose. Right up the middle, Rayburn picking up just his 7th RBI of the year. But it's a 6-2 Tiger lead.
Quinton Berry will hit against Francisco Liriano as Swarzak comes off the mound after a rough 3 2/3 innings. win here tonight.
Yeah, you know what? There's some ballparks, and the Twins have had success. Say in Chicago, the Twins have had success, where the Tigers have had success here over the last 10 ball games. And we have our Circle Meet Burt guests up here in the booth. Derek Kabadik from Burlington, North Dakota. They're here to thank the Minnesota Twins and Justin Morneau for a lot of their stuff that was able to be donated for the floods that were up in Burlington last summer.
Right outside of Minot, and the whole area up there ravaged by floods.
So welcome to the booth. Enjoy your half inning. If they continue to score, you're out of here. You know that.
You came in through the door. You're going to get pitched over the ledge here if we keep giving up runs. Burlington not too far from Carpio, and is it Berthold? Berthold, okay. One strike to Quentin Berry, who's walked and singled. And I would think this is a very big outing for Francisco Liriano for a number of reasons. His last few relief appearances have been an inning at a time. If he ever wants to get back into the rotation, he needs to pitch several innings effectively, and he's got the great opportunity to do it here tonight.
I agree, Dick. You know, Liriano, good slider right there, and the inning's over on a nasty slider by Liriano.
A couple more runs for the Tigers on 3 hits, and they lead by 4. Off 6 straight. Trevor Plouffe will lead off the 4th inning. With the baseball amateur draft about a week and a half away, the Twins in their 9-man starting lineup have 4 former #1 draft picks in the starting lineup.
Yeah, Joe Mauer back in 2001, Span, Plouffe, and Ben Revere. Very nice. That's what you want out of your #1 pick. Get up to the big leagues eventually.
Catcher and the whole outfield starting today. Former #1 draft picks. Plouffe with a fly ball to right his first time up. This one hit to left center field. That's hooking toward the gap. And we've got another extra base hit. Plouffe to second with a double. The Twins got 2 doubles when they scored a couple of runs in the first, and now Plouffe cracks a double on the first pitch of the 4th. Just don't get the sense that the final score of this game is going to be 6-2.
Well, Smiley giving up his 5th hit, his 3rd double. Plouffe jumping all over this pitch and hitting it over the head of the speedy Perry. Perry giving a chase, but plays the carom off the wall. So
here's Casilla.
Plouffe with his 3rd double of the year.
Casilla up the middle. Glove by Peralta makes a fine play to retire Casilla, and the ground ball headed up the middle.
Well, you don't like to make an out, but a productive out right there. You saw a little bit of that ball out of the glove, but Casilla able to move the runner Plouffe from 2nd to 3rd. Now it gives Jamie Carroll an RBI situation.
Carroll with a walk his first time up. Ended up at third base. Infield back, and Carroll hacks it foul. Mentioned that both Valencia and Burrows are down in Rochester. They're both hitting okay, but the Twins want Valencia to firm up his game down there offensively in Rochester before he's called up. They only want to call him up one more time.
Right. Danny down in AAA, hitting .289, 8 home runs, 21 runs driven in 11 ball games.
1 and 2. Burrows simply never got a chance to play much because the Twins were trying to get Valencia going, so Burrows didn't get any playing time up here.
And Burrows hitting .292, a couple home runs, 15 runs driven in 16 games.
Inside 2 and 2. And then you've got Chris Parmalee, who was sent down. He's doing fine down there too, but when the Twins call him up, they want him to play up here and not ever be sent down again.
Yeah, Parmalee in 6 ball games, hitting .333 with a couple home runs. He's driven in 11.
It's dribbled up the line foul. Well, we started talking about it last night. A couple of Twins outfield prospects, Rene Tassoni, Joe Benson, sent down to Double-A. The guy they're really waiting for down in Double-A is Aaron Hicks to finally put it all together and at least get bumped up to Triple-A. But Hicks is hitting in the 240s right now.
I take that back. Danny's hit 2 home runs. Burrows has hit none, and Parmalee 1.
To center. Blue setting up for a tag.
That should do it.
Barry fires it in towards home plate. A sacrifice fly by Carroll, and the Twins get one back on the 4th.
And credit Alexi Garcia in getting Plouffe over to third.
Before Span hits, a reminder that every Saturday you have the chance to help many local nonprofits and possibly leave as a winner of thousands of dollars in the Split the Pot raffle at every Saturday home game in 2012. Proceeds benefiting the Twins Community Fund and a lot of other local charities. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com and get your tickets for tomorrow afternoon's game against the Tigers. Here's Span. A solid double to right center in the first, and then a solid single to left. It's nice to see Span driving the ball. One and 0 to Span. And now a strike. Fielder and Cabrera exchanging some animation. Up the middle. And Peralta makes a nice play again going to his left. The leadoff double leads to a Twins run at 6-3. early 2-0 lead. Now they trail by 3. We're at Target Field. Kevin Gord, Rod Coomer, glad to be reunited with Bert Blyleven. Dick Bramer here with Francisco Liriano, hoping to hang up some zeros here in the middle innings. A first pitch strike to Andy Dirks. Casilla to Morneau, 1 away. And before Miguel Cabrera comes to the plate, if you're an outdoor enthusiast, Fox Sports North Outdoors is your home for the best outdoor programming. Every Saturday and Sunday morning, gain first-hand experience from the experts on hunting and fishing, camping. Fox Sports North Outdoors, presented by Mills Fleet Farm. Saturdays at 6, Sundays at 7:30, only on Fox Sports North. One gone quickly here in the 5th. Here's Cabrera. Fastball missing, ball 1. There will be a pitch count for Liriano by the time he leaves the game. And then it'll be broken down between balls and strikes. Maybe the most important number, and the number that eventually might lead him back into the starting rotation, is fastballs for strikes. He missed with the first one, threw a strike with the second one. Nobody on base, and he's pitching from the stretch, which might be a means for him to try to tighten his delivery up a little bit.
They see that from time to time, you know, get him out of the windup, try to come to the stretch so he's not maybe as herky-jerky. Good changeup right there. Great location. Liriano making his 5th relief appearance since being shipped to the bullpen. First 4 relief appearances, a total of 4 2/3 innings, only 2 hits allowed. He has walked 5, but with 6 strikeouts.
Full count. Cabrera on the night, a ground ball double play and a fly to right. And Cabrera draws a 1-out walk. Back to our AT&T trivia question. He got out of town 1 year before you arrived.
Yes.
The manager who led both the Twins and the Tigers to a division title. 1969 with the Twins, and in 72 with the Tigers, Billy Martin.
The fiery Billy Martin.
His personality, also his employment record. He was fired quite a bit.
I missed him in Texas too. I was traded from Minnesota in '76. He was with the Rangers managers in '75.
1-0. Most noted for his in-and-out managerial career in New York, but then later with Oakland. Took a franchise that had really been struggling, and for a couple of years got them on the radar screen of the fans in the Bay Area. 1-1 to Fielder. There goes Cabrera. And the throw to Dozier not in time, and Cabrera almost overslid the bag. Dozier claimed that he did, but Larry Vanover said he's safe.
Cabrera got a great jump off of Liriano, steals his 2nd base of the year in 3 attempts. He's one of those guys, you don't pay attention to him. You see Cabrera, all-out sprint, the throw low. And it looked like he came off the back of the bag right there.
Oh, he's out.
Yep.
2-1 to Prince Fielder. Into the right field corner, and Cabrera with the stolen base will score. Fielder goes to second with his 2nd hit, and he's got an RBI double, and the Tigers quickly get the run back that the Twins got on the bottom of the 4th.
Another double for the Tigers in this ballgame. Fielder picking up his 26th RBI. Got a Liriano fastball middle in. And pulling that ball over the head of Justin into the corner. And two big men on the bases right there for the Tigers.
Delvin Young singled and scored and then struck out in the fourth.
Seaford Fielder, his 9th double of the year.
Fouled away. When the Twins ended up dealing Young to the Tigers, and they had no choice, it was deal him to the Tigers or don't deal him last year because of the waiver claim. They got a right-handed relief pitcher by the name of Lester Olivares, who pitched briefly for the Twins during the season. Now Olivares, rather quietly, is having an awesome year in the minor leagues. Popped up to right field. Casilla out, Revere in, Revere with the catch, and that's out number 2. Oliveira started his season at Double-A, and he did very well. Promoted to Triple-A, and he's done even better there. 2 down, and Bosch will hit. In fact, there are a handful of relief pitchers in Rochester that, under normal circumstances, would probably be strongly considered for a call-up, but the bullpen has been one of the strongest areas for the Twins. You've got Anthony Slama, who's hardly given up any hits or runs at all. Lester Olivares, Deolis Guerra has done very well after a promotion to Triple-A. Bosch fouls it back, strike 1. See if Bosch has a different view of the ball coming out of Liriano's hand than Swarzak's. He just absolutely plastered 2 of Swarzak's pitches for doubles.
Yeah, it looked like he got a fastball in the 2nd inning for the RBI double, and then he started the 2-run 4th off with a double. Looked like a breaking ball down. It wasn't a bad pitch, but credit Bosch by going down and hitting it sharply.
Ouch. Snap bat, a soft liner to Casilla. The inning ends with another RBI double for the Tigers, and they lead by 4.
And we are standing in the Minnesota State Lottery winner's circle with a big winner here, $100 in scratch-off tickets. Compliments of the Minnesota State Lottery. Bill Bersdorf turns 90 today. He's got a group of 40 great-grandkids, grandkids, and kids. And Bill, this is pretty awesome.
Thank you so much.
I know your son Steve put this together, and I can see you've got all the family here. You've got multiple Circle Me Bird signs. What's it feel like to be circled on your 90th birthday hanging over this beautiful baseball field?
Nothing greater.
Nothing greater, guys.
This is the best.
All he wants now for his 90th birthday, Bert, is more than just a circle. He wants a Twins win, and we're only down a couple, so I think you can make that happen.
Well, let's hope that happens, and happy birthday, Bill. What a great outing right there for that young man, being surrounded by so many loved ones. Happy 90th.
Steve was holding the sign. I said, no, that guy doesn't look 90. No. Bill, maybe. But Ben Revere at the plate, 1-1. Twins open to claw their way back. They're down by 4. And Revere bunts it up the line, foul. Avila claiming the ball hit Revere as he was out of the box, but no call from Todd Tishner.
Cabrera at third already playing in, but now he's back on the dirt.
1-2, Revere, Mauer, and Willingham. Facing Drew Smiley. And Revere strikes out to start the 5th.
A good fastball by Smiley. Picks up just his 2nd strikeout.
That'll bring up Mauer. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st and lined out with the then tying runs in scoring position. Lined out for the final out of the 2nd. White Sox continue to lead the Indians 3-2 in the 5th inning. A.J. Pierzynski, who was beaten to a pulp in the game last night, in the lineup for the White Sox, and he's got an RBI. Strike.
You can say what you want about A.J. Pierzynski, but he is out there every day.
I thought there's no way. I mean, he took foul tips, pitches in the dirt last night. He just took a pounding. Mauer flips it foul, 2 strikes. The 5-3 road trip was a welcome sight for Twins fans. It started with a 4-game winning streak. Twins won the first 2 games, or the 2 games in Detroit, and the first 2 games in Milwaukee. Then the first game in Chicago. 0-2 to Mauer. 1-2. Smiley, speaking of draft picks, mentioned a draft pick for the Tigers in 2010. Little dribbler up the right side. Smiley flips to Fielder, who barehands it. 2 down. Smiley, the 6th pitcher from the 2010 draft to reach the major leagues. Now, that draft less than 2 years ago. There have already been 6 pitchers that have made the big leagues and no position players. So if you want an argument for how desperate teams are for pitchers, that's an example.
Yeah, this is a nice play by Smiley right here. Watch him he's telling Fielder, go to the bag, I'll take it, and he barehands it and flips it over to Fielder for the 2nd out.
Here's Willingham. I mean, there's a reason there's so much demand for a guy like Roy Oswalt, who hasn't pitched yet this year, and Andy Pettit could miss a year. There's another dribbler up the other side. And Smiley fires to Fielder. Another 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 6 men in a row.
Game 2 in the series Saturday at 12:30 p.m. We are expecting a mostly cloudy game, but also there's going to be a shower or thunderstorm around. Our first pitch, 67 degrees with winds up to 16 miles per hour.
And this is Friday Night Baseball presented by Kawasaki Terex, ATV on Fox Sports North. So far it's a Detroit ball game. They lead by 4. Francisco Liriano entered the game in the 4th inning in relief of Anthony Swarzak.
Well, he's throwing strikes, 20 pitches, 14 strikes so far for Liriano, a walk and a strikeout.
And the walk to Cabrera really hurt him because the next guy, Fielder, hit an RBI double. Check swing roller to short. And Dozier over to Morneau, 1 away.
Hey, Ron Coomer, you're down in there. Last inning we saw against Cabrera, he went into that stretch position with nobody on, but now he's back in a windup again.
You pitchers, it's tough to figure you guys out,
Amen.
But I look at Frankie, and obviously when you're doing stuff like that, you're trying to figure things out for yourself. But to me, last inning, okay, so he walks Cabrera, he steals second, and Fielder gets a hit and drives in a run. But he's one guy on this staff that probably has the best stuff. So if he gets close to being able to throw strikes with that pitch right there with his fastball, and is able to command somewhat of his slider, and his changeup has always been pretty decent, you got to think he's got to go back into rotation here soon, wouldn't you think?
Well, I think, like Dick mentioned, I think this is a very important outing for Liriano because, Swarzak kind of, in and out as a starter, reliever. Now, he's replacing Anthony Swarzak right here. So if he can go deep into the ball game, maybe get into the 7th or 8th inning and stretch it out and pitch well then they would have to maybe say, let's put him back in there and see what he can do. That's a good fastball right there. Great location. That was strike 1, but it's not strike 2.
Bert, I got a question for you. Dick and I discussed this yesterday, and you being a Hall of Fame pitcher, we were talking about his fastball and the command of it or lack of this year at times, and that's what got him out of the rotation. That's the pitch that if he gets command of his fastball and is able to throw it in the strike zone on a regular basis, once he shows that he can do that, don't you think that's going to be the sign of him getting back in?
Yeah, I agree. It all goes off your fastball. He's got a nasty slider. He's got a great changeup, but you cannot continue to pitch behind 3-0, and that slider right there kind of froze Avila. So Liriano picks up his 2nd strikeout. Take another look at this pitch right here. Almost a little spinner, but you saw Avila react by, going back. So he's got some good tight rotation on that slider.
Next Crystal Farms Kids Day is tomorrow. Excuse me, not tomorrow. It would be on Sunday when the Twins host the Tigers. Get to the game early for Kids Day autographs and free string cheese, courtesy of Crystal Farms. After the game, kids can run the bases at Target Field, presented by Gillette Children's Hospital. It's Sunday's Crystal Farm Kids Day. More information at twinsbaseball.com. Grounder to Dozier. Now 1-2-3 inning for Liriano in the 6th.
Revere, you do this right here, okay? You're hustling down that line, but you see this coming at you. All right, what do you do? Now, we're going to keep running this. All right, who's going to win the battle? Is it going to be Prince Fielder or Ben Revere to first base? All right, now watch Ben's reaction. Whoa, big boy. Please stop. And Ben Revere out. And good thing he wasn't out all the way. Running into that big man.
Coors Light freeze game. Justin Morneau leading off the sixth. Taking ball one, now ball two. It'll be Morneau, Dozier, and Plouffe, but the Twins trying to put together an inning here against Drew Smiley.
Yeah, Smiley settled down. He's only given up 2 hits since the Twins were able to put 2 on the board in the first.
Big foul fly over the Tiger dugout. Pulled through the hole to right. So Morneau gets his first hit. It's a leadoff single here in the 6th, and that gets Dozier to play. Time for the CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Smiley versus Swarzak.
Yeah, Swarzak only 3 2/3 innings, gave up 6 runs, all earned. He was clocked as high as 93, and Smiley at 96.
Twins get Smiley out of the ball game as the Tigers hand the 4-run lead over to their bullpen. It's 7-3 with Brian Dozier due to hit with Justin Morneau at first. And earlier today, a lot of managerial wins on the field. Tom Kelly was here. Tony La Russa, appearance in North Dakota, came down to watch a ball game here. Jim Leland was his third base coach for a lot of years with the White Sox.
Lloyd McClendon was the one shaking hands, his former manager. And TK going over his golf swing with La Russa and Jim Leland.
So Leland, again, was Tony La Russa's third base coach for a lot of years. Went off on his own managerial career.
Yeah, Leland for president. This is his 20th season as a major league manager.
Brian Dozier against Brian Villarreal.
Villarreal making his 7th relief appearance. It's a bullpen that has struggled for the Tigers coming in. Combined out of that bullpen, 4.71 ERA. Villarreal making just his 7th relief appearance. 8 strikeouts for Villarreal in 6 innings with 3 walks.
1-0 to Dozier. A 2-run double in the first inning and then a bouncer to second. Swing and a miss. Power against power with Villarreal dialing it up to 98. fastball at 97 gets another swing and a miss.
Yeah, Villarreal this year, this is his third stint with the Tigers. He started with the Tigers, then sent down in middle April, called up about 10 days later, optioned back to AAA, and then recalled on the 17th of May.
Back to the pitcher. Villarreal throws it to the second baseman. And another Tiger error.
You have to know who's covering right there, and it was a shortstop, Peralta. Villarreal, I'm sure he knew who was covering, but kind of nonchalantly watch him field his position, turn, and then just kind of flicked it. He thought maybe the second baseman was covering, but as a pitcher, no matter if you just forget, throw the ball over the bag and at least get one out. A mental mistake right there.
No, you had to do it hundreds of times. We got a trip to the mound, Jeff Jones. And I've often wondered, when you're on the mound, in this case Villarreal striding uphill on the slope of the mound, is that in any way contributing to a bad throw?
No, the only one that ever did, jump off the mound because he didn't like that little slope was Kenny Rogers. More or less, I mean, it's just get the ball and then you're going to go uphill, but you know how to throw the ball over the second base bag. If you're good enough, then if it's a shortstop, you throw it on the shortstop side. Second baseman, you still throw it over the bag because second baseman's coming in toward that position.
Twins got a couple of runs in the first inning when the Tigers didn't turn a double play they should have. Now they'll try to take advantage of the first Tiger error. And Avila asked a backhand, a breaking pitch down and away. Last year, one of the reasons the Tigers took control of the division was they called a youngster up who threw hard, who had a wicked slider, Albuquerque. And now there are some with the Tiger organization who think they might be able to catch lightning in a bottle again with Villarreal. Now Albuquerque's elbow ended up blowing out. Villarreal throws maybe even a little bit harder than Albuquerque did. 1-1.
Yeah, Albuquerque, a guy that already had arm problems, had the Tommy John surgery in 2005, then shoulder surgery in 2008, then the elbow barking again.
Punched down the right field line and foul, 1-2. Phil Koch warming up. Twins have a right-hander Plouffe, a switch-hitter Casilla, another righty Carroll, and then the Twins start having some left-handed batters, Span, Revere, and Maurer. The Twins would love to do just that here in the sixth. Turn the lineup over and score some runs. Foul back. 98.
Villarreal, just 25 years old, signed by the Tigers out of Venezuela in 2005. Came up a little bit last year with the Tigers.
Good bat here for Plouffe. Twins have the start of an inning here. First and second, nobody out. Plouffe doubled and scored his last time up. Fielder with a nice pickup. Safe at first. Villarreal could not get his foot on the bag. And he'll keep an eye on Morneau at third.
Yeah, Jim Leland's going to come out and look like Villarreal maybe went back. And this is what, maybe the umpire, Alan Porter, saw. Now, your responsibility for a pitcher is to get over the first base because fielder cannot get back. And the relay throw, you see how he kind of went back again, and that's what Porter maybe saw. Let's see if he keeps his foot on the bag right there. He reached back again. By the time Plouffe crossed the bag, he was still kind of reaching for the bag.
So another double play that could have been turned but wasn't. The Twins will try to take advantage of it here. Casilla with 2 ground balls, and the Twins really want to get at least one out of this. Casilla with a bouncer to second and a bouncer to short. Outfield playing Casilla very short all the way around.
Yeah, gapper would look very nice right here. All in the gap.
Up and away, ball one. Now Casilla not known as a power hitter, but when you're dealing with someone who throws 98, if he can get the barrel on one, he might be able to burn the outfield here. 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Good swing right there by Casilla, just a little tardy.
Smiley hoping that he can have his bullpen pick him up here in the 6th inning.
I know Ron Coomer's down there. When you have a guy like Ron, I mean, that's throwing 98, you got to speed up, don't you?
This one lifted to left field. Dirk's going back. Morneau setting up for a tag. And a throw back to the infield. Casilla gets 1 run in with a fly ball.
A sacrifice fly for Casilla, and he picks up his 8th RBI.
Bert, to answer your question, you better speed up.
Yeah.
he's getting it up there pretty good. I was watching the board the first couple pitches, and here in the stadium they weren't showing the speed of the pitch, and Dick had said 98. He's really getting it up there pretty good. But to me, the big key is 2 things. One, you got to get started early and try to just be easy with your hands. If you can be easy with your hands and just get the head of the bat out to the hitting zone, then all of a sudden a guy like him will provide the power. It's a good swing by Lexi to drive in that run.
Here's Carroll with Plouffe at first and 2 down.
But you say easy with your hand. Wouldn't you want to be quicker with your wrist? Because, you know, I mean, it's coming on at you in a hurry like a Nolan Ryan fastball.
It is, but the more tension you get in your hands, in your body, the slower your hands are. So if you can be real easy and get your hands going early in your setup, in that little start that you get, kind of like a pitcher would do to get his body started, the hitters get that little cock back. If you can get that just a little bit earlier, and then you want to try to really stay tension-free, because as soon as you get tense, you get slow. He's out there.
You see the cup bat that Carroll used, and it popped it right off the end.
2 strikes to Carroll.
That should be in the Twins souvenir shop.
Both pieces.
2 for 1.
2 strikes to Carroll. It's foul.
It's amazing. You know, everybody's built different, but here you have a guy, Villarreal, that's 6 foot tall, about 170 pounds, and he could throw that ball at 98 miles an hour. You know, he's not built like Randy Johnson or guys like that.
Carroll with a breaking pitch. He lifts it foul.
I think every time Tony Sipp pitches for the Indians, we always talk about Tommy Hall, the Blade. The Blade could get that fastball up there. And he maybe was 160 pounds dripping wet.
Carroll takes a ball, 1-2. So a lot of power arms in the White Sox bullpen, and they have a lot of them in the Detroit bullpen too. Smiley hoping for just his 2nd major league win. That ball thrown away, and Plouffe will have at least 2nd. Will be held there. So now Carroll, who's been battling here in this at bat because of the error, will have a chance to score on a hit to the outfield.
Yeah, 2nd error of the inning, both by Villarreal. Throwing that ball past fielder. And Plouffe does move into scoring position.
We'll see if the Twins can take advantage of that error. It was not an insignificant factor in the 2-game sweep in Detroit. The Tigers looked terrible in the field. Now a couple of errors here in the 6th inning. 1-2. Headed up the middle. It'll bleed through. Plouffe will score. Throw coming to the plate. It hits the mound and bounces over the catcher. Villarreal drops it, and Carroll goes to second base.
So the Twins do take advantage of the couple errors this inning and are only down by 2 now, 7-5. And Jimmy Leland is going to bring in the left-hander, Phil Koch.
3 straight left-handers will hit. And Carroll battles. And once Plouffe got into scoring position, he found a single right up the middle.
Carroll picking up his 2nd RBI of the ballgame, his 14th of the year.
That ball looked like it might have even hit the pitching rubber and bounced straight up in the air. So 2 for the Twins so far in the 6th. Span against Koch when we come back. Here in the 6th, you can follow the Twins with MLB.com at @12 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, or Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and much more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit twinsbaseball.com for details.
Well, Phil Koch coming out of the bullpen, making his 22nd relief appearance. He's been used the most out of that bullpen by Jim Leland. And Jeff Jones, the pitching coach.
Span, and the Twins hope to get Revere and Mauer to the plate yet this inning, but Carroll went to second on the throw toward the plate. So Span, if he can get a hit to the outfield, might cut the lead to 1. He already has a double and a single against left-handed starter Drew Smiley.
Koch has a good fastball in the low 90s, hard slider, and a changeup.
Yeah, the mouse here between Koch and Span. Inside, ball 1. Span's faced Koch quite a bit over the years, 8 times, has just 1 hit. Breaking ball over for a strike.
Koch, 29 years old, in his 3rd season with the Tigers. Came up with the Yankees in 2008. The Tigers tried to make him a starter. That really didn't pan out. Now back in the bullpen.
That is a spinner up the line, foul. 1-2. Remember when Koch was with the Yankees, there was that series at Yankee Stadium. Joe Mauer hit 2 home runs against him. Morneau hit a home run. I think maybe in the back of our minds we thought, well, we'll never see this guy again. And he's absolutely eaten up all the Twins left-handers ever since. Mauer hasn't done much against him in the last 10 at-bats. Neither has Morneau. Told you Span just 1 for 8 against him.
One thing about Koch is he's been pretty durable as far as going out there. You know, already 22 appearances. And this is the 45th game for the Tigers. So a guy that bounces back quickly.
1-2 to Span. Bounce to the right side. Fielder backpedals and wins his second foot race of the night. Twins get a couple of runs. Pick up the Tiger lead in half. The game, a lot of runs scored.
Well, in the first inning, Brian Dozier put the Twins up 2-0. But in the second inning, it was 5 hits and a couple big doubles for the Tigers that took a 4-2 lead. Avila, a big 2-run double. And then Avila again, another RBI double. 10 hits for the Tigers, 5 doubles so far in this ballgame. And now it's up to Francisco Liriano to do what he's done so well. Put a 0 on the board.
Gone through the Tiger lineup once. He's given up 1 walk, 1 hit, and 1 run. And now he'll start his second trip through the batting order, starting with Quintin Berry.
28 pitches, 19 for strikes for Liriano.
It's a bunt up the line. Safe at first. With Berry running so fast, he dropped a bunt up the line. Morneau to Casilla. Now here comes Ron Gardenhire. I'm not so sure that Alan Porter hasn't missed another one. It looked like the throw was there. And the only reason Casilla or the runner would be ruled safe is if Casilla didn't have his foot on the bag.
Always a tough play for a second baseman. You see where Casilla is. Now once the bunt, you see Casilla hustling over there. Just a quick feed over to him. And a bang-bang play. And Berry with his speed.
Boy, that is bang-bang. Oh, simultaneously. The ball into Casilla's glove and Berry's foot hitting the bag. So a bunt single, and now Dirks will hit.
Keep an eye on Berry again at 260 plus minor league stolen bases. Yet to attempt to steal yet at the major league level. But only in his 3rd game.
Bunted and a foul, and that got Mauer.
Dirk squaring around. Jim Leland like to maybe get another RBI situation for his big man, and that power on the foot looks like the right foot.
Inside of the right foot. So 1 strike. The bunt play, you look at it, looks like everybody, I don't think the bunt took the Twins the least bit by surprise. You could see Casilla sprinting toward first base before Barry gave the bunt away.
A great read by Casilla. As soon as he saw Barry, attempt bunt, Casilla hustled over to first.
I think the Twins, Morneau charged the ball, turned, and delivered a good throw, but it was just a perfectly placed bunt. And sometimes you can't defend that.
Well, Dirk's showing bunt early, and he doesn't have to sacrifice yet this year. He looks down at Gene Lamont, the third base coach, seeing if it's still on.
He bunted it off his leg this time, 2 strikes.
That's probably why he doesn't have a sacrifice. Let's take a go back to the play right here. Now, Liriano, he falls off toward the third base side. Justin comes in to field the ball. And then the only thing Justin, I think, could have done is barehand it so it doesn't go from the glove to, his hand. Rather than barehand it and get it to Casilla a little bit quicker.
There's a strikeout on a slider. Dirks gave it 2 tries with the bunt, fouled them both, and then Liriano set him up for the slider, which is his strikeout pitch.
And Liriano picks up his 3rd strikeout. Good slider, good location.
So 1 down, Barry still at first, and Cabrera the batter. Liriano walked him and paid the price. So much the walk as the inattentiveness to Cabrera on the bases. He stole second and then scored on Fielder's double. And there goes Barry. Mauer's throw, not in time, and Barry steals second. That's a nice little parachute for Jim Leland. You try the sacrifice to get Barry to second. It doesn't work, and then on the next pitch he steals it anyway.
Well, Barry stealing his first major league base. Got his first major league RBI tonight.
So now that takes the bat out of Cabrera's hands.
Yeah, with Austin Jackson put on a disabled list, they called up Barry for that purpose, being the leadoff hitter, create some speed, be one of those table setters for Cabrera and Fielder.
Got some encouraging news on Jackson today, by the way. He, of course, had an MRI. Everybody does who's missed more than 2 games in a row. And they said they saw no further damage to the abdominal area. They expect that his 15 days that he's on the disabled list will be enough to get him back in the active roster. Rick Anderson to the mound. And on Sunday, NASCAR on Fox will be in Charlotte as defending champion Kevin Harvick and points leader Greg Biffle lead the world's best drivers in a chase for the checkered flag. Fox Sports is proud to bring you exclusive coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing with the Coca-Cola 600 live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway Sunday in prime time at 4:30 Central. Very light rain has begun to fall here at Target Field.
Rick Anderson out there with a game plan. Big thing, too, for Liriano. Give that runner at second, Barry, a couple looks. Don't just take it for granted. Keep an eye on him. Yeah, the guy has outstanding speed.
Fielder with 2 hits. A little flared single to left and a run scored in the second.
That'll be Brian Dozier's responsibility to try to keep Barry close to second.
Swinging a foul, and Mauer is taking some punishment here in the 7th inning.
looked like he got the left hand, the glove hand. Mauer.
One strike. Swinging strike two.
Two good sliders.
Oh, 2 to Fielder. Blocked by Mauer. 1-2.
A good block right there by Joe.
Just got done doing the White Sox series where Adam Dunn is striking out almost once every other at bat. Fielder has always done a nice job limiting strikeouts, just 31 on the season in 165 at bats.
Not a bad move right there by Liriano. Just show the runner that you have that turnaround, spin around move.
So 1-2 to Fielder.
Four straight sliders to Fielder. I mentioned this in Detroit. I think it's worth mentioning again. The thing about getting a fielder is, you know, this guy has missed only one game over the past 6 seasons. This guy is durable. People talk about, you know, why he's a big man, but this guy plays every day.
And he fights one off into center field. Span comes up firing. Throw to home plate, not in time. And Fielder gets his third hit. A 1-2 pitch lined into center field, and Berry flies around third for the 8th Tiger run.
Fielder picking up his second RBI on his third hit, the 12th hit for the Tigers. 4 straight sliders, and then they tried it again, but it was left middle in. And Fielder, I said one game, he's missed 11 games over the last 6 years. It's an RBI, and it's an 8-5 ball game.
Still only one out. Delman Young, the batter. And he shoots one to right field over Morneau, and it'll get to the corner. Cabrera scores. Fielder to third on an RBI double for Delman Young. So the Twins get 2 in the bottom of the 6th, and the Tigers answer.
And another double for the Tigers. They're 6th of the ball game in the 13 hits they've been able to put on the board.
So the second time through the order not going as well for Liriano, as he's given up 3 hits and the intentional walk. And it all started with a bunt single.
Delman just over the glove of Justin. Rivera gets it back in, but for Delman Young, he picks up his 15th RBI on his 10th double.
Brennan Bosch with the infield in, and still only one out. Liriano gave up a run in the 5th, now a crooked number in the 7th. Ouch, that awful, sickening sound. Larry DeVito with a nice catch over the Detroit on-deck circle.
Baseball has a lot of sounds. That's one of the best. DeVito just sitting there calmly. Ball came right to him.
Got that little net in front of him to take care of the line drives, and anything lobbed over the top.
Barehanded it nicely, looked at it, then gave it to a fan. Bosch getting a new bat.
Liriano's broken 2 of his bats. He got Bosch to line out softly to Casillas, shattered his bat in the 5th, and now again here in the 7th. Bosch contributing to the reforestation of Minnesota. 200 trees will be planted thanks to Brennan Bosch. To short left field. Dozier out. And the ball drops. And the fans letting Dozier and the Twins know how they feel about that.
Well, you don't know who's calling right there, and Dozier went in, and he kind of, I don't know, nonchalantly maybe thought that Trevor Plouffe was going to come in and make that catch. You'd like the outfielder to make the catch right here. Dozier going a long way for it. And maybe that ball just spun away from him, but didn't even get glove on it.
Liriano having some trouble in the 7th with the Tigers scoring 3. Still only 1 out. The final vote approving the Viking Stadium bill. Read Brian Hall's coverage of that story and Joe Neeson's coverage of what that bill means for Target Center at FoxSportsNorth.com. Ugly top of the 7th, and Jeff Gray comes in to try to settle things down.
Yeah, Jeff Gray worked in last night's ball game, a shutout inning through 13 pitches, 9 for strikes, making his 20th appearance in a Twins uniform. 19 hits in 19 innings pitched. He's walked 8 with 13 strikeouts.
In-game box score with everybody but Johnny Peralta contributing. Cabrera scored a couple of runs after being walked twice.
Yeah, Brendan Bosch credited with an RBI single right there because no contact was made with Dozier's glove and the ball, so it just dropped in for a single. He picks up his 3rd hit, driving in a 2nd run.
So now Gray will face Peralta, who's 0 for 3, and the Twins desperately need to get off the field here. They drew to within 2. Now it's back to a 5-run lead. Twins had a game get away from them last night in Chicago, giving up way too many runs. Strike 1. Before, Peralta typically has hit very well in this park, but tonight he is 0 for 3. Two strikes. Looks like the White Sox are going to beat the Indians in Chicago 7-2 in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, that would put, with that win, the White Sox 2.5 games behind the Cleveland Indians. In second place. Tigers came into this ball game 6 games behind the Indians.
To right field. Revere with a nice basket catch. And again, his speed in right field. We saw it twice in last night's game in Chicago, coming in and running towards second base. We saw it retreating to the gap in right center tonight earlier, now running to the foul line.
Yeah, Peralta just softly hitting this ball down the right field line, and Revere, respecting his power, playing pretty deep, makes a nice running catch for the second out. Good concentration. The big glove opened up nicely.
2 down. Here's Avila.
It's like a Dan Gladden glove right there.
I think TC's using that glove now. Swing and a strike. Twins got the first 2 runs, but the Tigers have scored in just about every inning since. 4 in the second, 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 3 here in the 7th.
Too many crooked numbers.
On the outside corner, 0-2. All right, Liriano's out of the game. How do you assess his performance now?
Well, I thought he had a really good 6th inning. You know, the Twins scored a couple runs, got back into the ball game. But then in the 7th, you know, the bunt single, he struck out Dirks, and then the intentional walk, and then Fielder, he left the pitch up, and Fielder, you know, Joe wanted that slider down and away, left it up. Fielder got that base hit up the middle, and then Delman Young, just good piece of hitting, took the ball the other way for the RBI double.
2 strikes to Avila.
So on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being good, I give it a 2.
In the dirt, and the runner will advance. Delman Young going to third.
Now that'll be a wild pitch charged to Jeff Gray. So Gray, his 3rd wild pitch of the year. Slider that got away from Joe.
I think I know the answer to this, but in giving Liriano a 2, you are not ready to move him back into the rotation. Doesn't he needs to get at least a 4, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. 1-2 to Avila. And Gray comes in and puts an end to the 7th, but it was not a good inning for the Twins as the Tigers scored 3. Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. Get a freshly brewed cup of premium roast coffee from McDonald's. Any size is just $1. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. Twins need to get the Minnie and Paul to start flashing here. Might take a long ball or two to get the Twins back in this game. They keep leaking air here in their comeback attempt. Go to the bottom of the 7th, and now Ben Revere in what is a 5-run Tiger lead. Revere with a single his first time up. On a night when the Twins defense hasn't been razor sharp, Revere has played well in right field. Corner infielders up. Tigers used a bunt single to start their 7th and turn it into 3 runs. Revere takes inside, ball 1.
Yeah, Phil Koch out there starting this bottom of the 7th inning. He got the final out of Bernard Span to end the bottom of the 6th.
Revere, Mauer, and Willingham here in the Twins 7th. Strike on the outside corner. Baltimore rolls on. They've won 8-2. Ryan Rayburn in right field. Santiago at second. Pat foul.
Well, we've seen Ben Revere tonight go to his right and make a nice catch off the bat of Peralta, and then Peralta up again. I don't think they'll be having dinner together.
1-2. Revere strikes out, and he's the first out of the 7th inning.
Yeah, good slider down and away. Koch picks up a strikeout. Box Tracks brought to you by Carrier. Good slider down and away. Ben Revere swinging at a pitch out of the strike zone.
Mauer is 0 for 3. Strike 1. Mauer reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning, scored on Dozier's double. That was the double play that should have been turned by the Tigers and wasn't because of an errant throw by Peralta. Ripped to right, and a solid single from Mauer. And that'll bring up Willingham. Willingham on the day. A walk in the first, a ground out in the 3rd, and another ground out in the 5th. Strike on the inside corner.
$37,688 here tonight.
Pretty close to a sellout. 1-1. Willingham actually hitting right-handers much better than left-handers. Among right-handed batters, the best hitter is Alexi Casilla, the switch hitter. Jamie Carroll hitting lefties at a 275 clip. This one hit toward the corner, and Rayburn leaps, and he doesn't catch it. It lands in foul territory, but he overran the ball. Well, neither team is going to submit this for a fielding video.
Well, he got near that wall right there, took a peek right there, and then leaped for it. And the ball, I think, hit over his head. Let's take a look. He leaps right here. I think he thought he was right against that wall, but he still had a couple, 2-3 feet.
Landed about a foot foul. One and two to Willingham. And now 2-2. Best hitter the Twins have against left-handed pitching is Mauer. And he's just singled. And another one lifted foul into the seats.
She got the ball.
Two and two for the Twins' designated hitter. Ripped to left. To the wall. Mauer to third. And they're going to hold him up. So Willingham with a solid double to left. And the Twins are trying to jump back into the ball game. Second and third with one out and Morneau to the plate.
Well, you take advantage of the pitcher. You know, it took about 5-6 pitches, but finally Koch left the ball over the plate. Every pitch seemed to be down and away or down. And finally a pitch left about thigh high, and Josh didn't miss it, lining it down that left field line. Brooks gets it back in. And for Willingham, his 14th double.
Morneau now standing in against Koch. Very likely the last man Koch will face. The Twins have right-handed batters Dozier and Plouffe lined up next. Avila with the block. 1-0. Morneau singled and scored his last time up. He was the last man that Drew Smiley faced. Justin has really struggled against left-handers. His single against Smiley just his fourth hit against left-handers in 38 at bats.
And Avila's going to run this ball out to Phil Koch. First two pitches down and away, out of the strike zone.
Tigers will gladly take it out on a ground ball. They're playing the infield very deeply. Joaquin Benoit warming up. Morneau swings and misses 2-1. Pitch, same result, 2-2. Gotta do it again, don't you?
You would think. Justin pulling off that ball a little bit, that slider down and away.
Nothing but sliders in this at bat.
Avila, sit away.
Tap to the right side, Mauer will score. Fielder to the bag. Morneau gets a run batted in, but the Twins lose an out here in the seventh. Willingham to third.
And Jim Leyland on his way out. Saw Benoit warming up. So Mauer scores his sixth run.
Brian Dozier will face Benoit, with the Twins hoping to shovelful by shovelful dig themselves out of the hole. early, but the Twins hoping to get another one back here in the 7th inning against a different Detroit pitcher.
Yeah, Benoit, strikeout pitcher, 27 strikeouts in 17 2/3 innings, making his 20th relief appearance. He's allowed 17 hits in the 17 2/3 innings, has yet to allow a home run. 11 walks, 1 intentional. Benoit in his 2nd season with the Tigers. Signed as a free agent with the Tigers, a 3-year deal back in winter of 2010.
Dozier stands in. Takes ball 1. Dozier with a 2-out, 2-run double in the 1st. The Twins led 2-0 there. And a bouncer to 2nd in the 3rd. And another ground ball in the 6th. Swings through a 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Low 2-1. It's been a night of doubles. Twins getting another one here in the 7th. Dozier drove in 2 runs with a double in the 1st. Two and 1 to the Twins shortstop. High fly center field. Barry comes in to end the inning. Twins get one back, but still trail by 4. Times roll.
And this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Well, it's not been a good ball game for the Twins pitching staff again. Anthony Swarzak moved into the rotation because Carl Pavano needed some more time. Pavano will start tomorrow for the Twins. At some point, they hope to get him on his regular routine, but because Swarzak started, the bullpens had to pitch most of the game again tonight.
Well, you know, the Twins had Monday off, and then P.J. Walters, who's pitching here on Sunday, had that complete game. Perkins did not pitch in that Chicago series, so the last time he pitched was in Milwaukee, so Perkins getting an inning right here, I'm sure. Perkins, you can see a hard-throwing left-hander, hard slider.
Ryan Rayburn tried to turn one around, and he fouls it to the screen. This is the 3rd game in the last 5 where the Twins have given up 10 or more runs. And back-to-back games with what happened last night. Twins lost the ball game 11-8. And Mauer this time has his mask peeled off. Day game after a night game tonight, and not that I know anything about catching. I thought Pierzynski would get tonight off in Chicago, but I'm guessing Joe won't be catching tomorrow. Drew Butera will probably start behind the plate with Pavano going. High fly to right field, and Revere jogs toward the line. One down.
I think Gardenhire, Ron wants, Ryan Domet to get behind there too, but he
at some point.
Right.
So one away in the 8th, and here's Quinton Berry. Berry's reached 3 times. And the Twins need to do a lot of things better than they've done here tonight, and that's one of them. They need to keep this guy off the bases. Only scored 1 run, but he bunted for a base hit leading off the 7th, stole 2nd, and then everything just kind of fell apart later in the inning.
Again, Quinton Berry basically in the lineup because of Austin Jackson on a disable, is playing just his 3rd major league game, and tonight a couple first. His first major league RBI, his first stolen base.
Well, you say, well, why should you be that concerned about someone who's not an established player, but Perkins hits the outside corner. It's like the Tigers saying we need to keep Ben Revere off the bases. 2 down in the 8th, and Andy Dirks coming up. The Twins will be home Monday afternoon on the holiday against the Oakland A's. And that game is a Schweigert $1 a dog day. The first 20,000 hot dogs will be sold for $1. Limit 2 per customer. Good seats available for the Twins Athletic Series. You can check out pricing at twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS. Roller scooped up by Casilla. Quick flip, inning over. Good inning for Perkins. And the Twins get off the field, hoping to peck away at a 4-run deficit.
With us after the game for Twins Live, presented by, as always, CenturyLink. We'll take a look at some clutch hitting. Teams have pounded out 23 combined hits. The Tigers came in slumping with runners in scoring position. That hasn't been the case tonight. We'll break down the start by Anthony Swarzak, and we'll take you inside the clubhouse and hear from the manager, Ron Gardenhire, as the fans wait around to see some fireworks after the game. We're hoping Twins still have some fireworks here in the 8th and 9th inning at the plate.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Trevor Plouffe will lead things off in the bottom of the 8th. who've scored a couple of runs, doubled in the fourth and scored, reached in a fielder's choice and scored. 1-1. Plouffe, Casilla, and Carroll. The Twins have a bench made up of Komatsu, Butera, Mastroianni, and Doman. Bouncer to short. Peralta over to fielder. Plouffe retired all the way. Tigers have a veteran bullpen. Benoit's been around a long time. Valverde certainly. Dotel, Koch.
Yeah, Benoit from the Dominican Republic, 34 years old, in his second season with the Tigers. He was in the Ranger organization from 1996 to 2008. And then he had the shoulder surgery. The Rangers kind of gave up on him. He signed with the Rays, and he got called up and did a great job a couple of years ago. 63 relief appearances for the Tampa Bay Rays, a 1.34 ERA in his free agent year. Then he signed with the Tigers. Signed a 3-year contract.
Tampa Bay Rays do many things well. Two of them, they rebuild their bullpen very well year after year after year. And they make road trips entertaining. Joe Madden with a themed road trip, a nerd road trip. All the players had to wear bow ties on the flight.
Yeah.
This one up the line, and it's going to triple foul.
Yeah, he's done so many things, you know, to, I believe it was, they went to a 3-game series at Texas and then coming right home again, where it was, everybody was to bring one pair of jeans, I believe 2 shirts or 3 shirts, 1 pair of shoes, socks if you wear them, he said, and also underwear if you wear them. That was it. That's all you wore the whole 3 days you're in Texas.
Okay.
So he really, you know, unites his players.
You see it, it's a mile, but it's foul.
Now, could you imagine if they went through the airport, which ball clubs don't anymore, and here come the Tampa Bay Rays walking through the terminal, all 40 probably personnel with maybe Joe Madden type glasses on.
Right, right.
And they would look like a bunch of nerds walking through the airport.
2-2 to Casilla. Half swing, got him. And Avila will flip to first. 2 down.
Benoit picks up the strikeout.
Jamie Carroll will hit. Carroll with an RBI single his last time up, drove in a run with a fly ball in the 4th. Walk in the 2nd. Strike 1. 3 with Detroit and 3 with Oakland. The A's are at home against the Yankees, and the Yankees have an early 3-0 lead. And strike 2. Read yesterday, actually, where the Steinbrenner family said the Yankees are not for sale. And the first thing I thought of is when George Steinbrenner would say Billy Martin would not be fired within 2 weeks. He was always fired. So I expect the Yankees to be dumped on the market here before too long.
And I read that article. I believe George Steinbrenner bought the Yankees in 1973 for
$12 million, I think.
Yeah, something rare.
Yeah. Actually bought the team, I believe, from CBS.
Yes.
The TV network. 1-2 to Carroll.
Well, if the Dodgers sold for almost $2 billion, can you imagine what the Yankees are worth? It's not a bad investment for the Steinbrenner family.
Things turned out okay for him. 2-2 to Carroll. Bouncer, right side. Fielder has it. Out at first. And Jerry White is going to take issue with Alan Porter. He's had some very close calls all night long. Jerry White's been tossed, I believe. Also been ejected from the game. Here's the play.
Yeah, another bang play. Carroll hustling down the line. Fielder underhanding it, and it looked like Carroll beat the throw. You can see he's safe right there, but Alan Porter calls him out. Now Jerry White's arguing, and Carroll saying something right there to Porter. He throws Jamie Carroll out, and then of course Ron Gardenhire coming out. Gardy already had a confrontation with Porter. So when Gardy came out, he gave his 2 cents worth. And you can see Carroll saying, why? What did I say? And now Gardy taking over.
Larry Vanover somewhere in there trying to restore some calm. So it's a 10-6 ball game. Matt Capps is pitching for the Twins to Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, as Glenn Perkins did not pitch in Chicago, Matt Capps did not pitch in Chicago, making his 17th relief appearance.
I mean, it's a tough job, and Alan Porter's had 3 or 4 really close calls at first base. But Jimmy Carroll.
Was his mild.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how to put it. And I'm not sure what Porter thought he heard, but I can just about guarantee you it's not what Jamie Carroll said. 2 strikes to Cabrera. Drilled over the head of Casilla. And again, Revere with his speed is able to cut that ball off. Now that's not an out, but that's an awfully good fielding play by Ben Revere in right field, because that ball was absolutely scalded toward the gap and he was able to run it down.
Yeah, Cabrera picking up his first hit. And watch Casilla right here. It's hit sharply. Casilla leaps for it. It's by him, but that ball has some scoot on it right there. But Revere cuts it off and keeps Cabrera at first base.
Now Prince Fielder. fielder with 3 hits in the ball game. And Caps delivers strike 1. Bloof in from left field to play third base in Carroll's absence. And Darren Mastroianni in left. One and one. Deep to the left field corner. Mastroianni watches it drift back into the seats. Three hits on the night. Fielders average just under 300.
A lot of hits for both ball clubs. 24 combined hits, with the Tigers having 15 of those 24. 10 doubles in this ball game. 6 by the Tigers, 4 by the Twins.
Tapper to short. Dozier will start a double play. 2 down.
Second double play that Fielder has hit into in this ball game.
And that'll bring up Delvin Young. Young with 2 hits, including an RBI double to right field in his last at bat.
Now, Twins leading the American League and turning double plays. Sometimes that's a good thing and a bad thing. That just means there's a lot of base runners.
And Young has his 3rd hit, jumping on the first pitch fastball from Matt Capps.
Well, we know Delman has, his goal up there is to go up there and swing the bat. In his last at bat, the RBI double, that coming off of Liriano, he jumped on the first pitch and lined it into that right field corner.
Santiago will hit in what was Bosch's spot.
Yeah, Bosch, very good night at the plate. He's out of the ball game. An RBI double in the 2nd inning, a double in the 4th, and an RBI single in the 7th.
Fouled away. 1 strike.
Santiago, a very good utility player for Jim Leyland.
Two.
Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, it was Brendan Bosch. 3 for 4, a couple doubles, scored a couple runs, drove in a couple runs.
Two strikes to Santiago.
Santiago in his 11th major league season. Switch hitter, was a left-handed hitter, hitting .245.
Hooked into the corner, but foul. There have been times in Santiago's tenure in Detroit where positions opened up and they've tried to run him out there on a regular basis. It just hasn't worked well, and he's one of those guys, a couple days a week.
So like a Nick Punto,
yeah.
Or go back further, a Denny Hawking type player. Can play so many different positions, could also play some outfield, infield, anywhere in the infield.
Two strikes to Santiago. This ball left up, and it's fouled straight back. Camp's getting a bit of a workout in here. He's thrown nothing but strikes. 10 pitches, all of them strikes. Left field, and Mastroianni comes in and makes a nice sliding catch to end the top of the ninth. Twins will try to ambush the Tigers in the bottom of the ninth. A Tiger ball game.
I think we talked about it's a game of doubles, 10 doubles hit in this ball game, 25 total hits. Fielder, Young, Bosch, all having good nights at the plate with 3 hits apiece.
Not a save situation, but the Tigers didn't have any in Cleveland either, so they need to get their closer somewhere.
Yeah, Jose Valverde coming in, making his 18th appearance. 7 saves of the 9 the Tigers have in 9 opportunities. Walks a little high. You see the 12 walks in 16 and a third innings. One of the 12, an intentional walk.
He was perfect in save opportunities last year and blew his first one this year. He's had some back issues that have slowed him up. He hasn't been nearly as effective or as reliable as he was last year.
49 saves last year for the Tigers. Jose Valverde.
There's a Coors Light Cold Hard fact with Jim Leland. Tops on the active list for managerial wins.
Yeah, Leland, 7th season with the Detroit Tigers, 20th season overall. Also managed the Pirates for 11 years, the Florida Marlins for a couple, and also the Colorado Rockies.
Top of the lineup, starting with Denard Span, who's gotten a couple of hits tonight. And the Twins will try to ambush Papa Grande and the Tigers here in the ninth. And he delivers strike 1 to Span. Span with a pair of solid hits his first 2 times up. Since then, a bouncer to short and a bouncer to first. Span asking for some time. 2 strikes.
Like Benoit, Valverde, 34 years old. He's in his 10th Major League season.
Two strikes to the leadoff man here in the bottom of the ninth. And fouled away. Fielder's had a good night at the plate. Delman Young's had a good night at the plate. 16 hits for the Tigers, and again the third game in the last 5 where the Twins pitching staff has given up 10 or more runs. Last night, the Twins got 2 home runs from Justin Morneau and 1 from Joe Mauer. They scored 8 runs. Twins need to win that ball game when that happens, but it doesn't happen very often. And now tonight, 6 runs you'd like to think was enough to win you a ball game most nights. The Twins are going to have to score 11 if they're going to win.
Pitching, especially the starting staff.
One and 2 to Span. Two and 2. In his year of perfection last year, Valverde also made everybody squirm. Closers do that from time to time. Everybody would like to have the closer come in and pitch 1, 2, 3 innings, but Valverde a lot of times last year used up what wiggle room he had. If there was a 3-run lead, he'd give up a run or 2.
You see, he holds that baseball a split finger. Very good pitch for him. Very good fastball in the mid-90s. Looks in a slider.
And now it's 3 and 2. Maybe not so much the runs allowed, but there were guys on base all the time.
It takes a lot of time too between pitches. Thank goodness he's only a closer.
I hadn't thought about that. If he was a starting pitcher, we'd have a 5-hour game. Full count to the leadoff man. That's down the line and into the corner. And Span has a double to start the 9th inning.
And another double in this ball game. Span with his second double of the ball game, his 12th of the year, gets his 3rd hit. Well, got the count to 3 and 2. A fastball. That Span, as it tailed away, just went with it. Good piece of hitting by Denard Span. He lets that ball get so deep into that strike zone, and it hits it the other way.
Typically a good night for Span against Detroit. It's Detroit pitching very well. 3 more hits tonight. Now here's Revere. Single up the middle his first time up. Since then, a grounder to first and a pair of strikeouts. The knee's a strike.
Just looking at Span's numbers against the Tigers, he came into this ballgame a .353 hitter against Detroit, and he's 3 for 5 in this game.
Revere, then Mauer, Willingham, and Morneau. One and 1.
I'm sorry, I said he is 34 years old. He walks around the mound like he's 54.
One and 1 to Ben Revere. Fielded by Cabrera. And Revere retired, 1 away. And Mauer, who singled his last time up, will try to forget all about his night behind the plate, get another hit.
Yeah, he got beat up back there, foul tip right there. And then taking one off the glove and maybe jamming that hand a little bit. And then off the mask. Ah, the tools of ignorance.
Mauer singled in the 7th, scored. Twins running out of outs here. Love to see Mauer get aboard. Outside, ball 1.
Yeah, I was just looking at that ground ball of Ben Revere. That is the first chance that Cabrera had in a ball game to field a ground ball. But he's moving everybody around.
One and 0 to Mauer. And now 1-1. Hoping to make it interesting yet. Here in the bottom of the 9th. Long ball game. Outside, and it's 2-1. Very patiently getting ready to deliver his 4th pitch to Joe Mauer.
Over 30 seconds per pitch.
Foul back. It was at Betancourt. It was with the Indians. Would always take forever.
Yeah, that pitch took 36 seconds to deliver toward home plate. Now Benoit, 249 career saves. Excuse me, Valverde. Led the National League twice in saves when he was with the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Houston Astros. And then last year led the American League in saves with the Tigers with 49.
2-2 to Mauer. Not yet.
He stepped off. We have a stopwatch up here on how long it takes between pitches. Valverde almost ready. And that pitch down and in took 49.5 seconds.
All right, turn over the egg timer. Good catch by Avila here, keeping Span. That's all Mauer would need to get drilled in the foot by an errant pitch. So he had a full count with Span before giving up the double. Now it's a full count to Mauer.
You know, baseball has a rule with nobody on. There's a certain time that you know, the umpires want a pitcher to deliver to home plate, but with runners on, you can basically take as long as you want.
He strikes out Mauer. Gestures for out number 2.
And 42 seconds to get that strikeout on that pitch.
Now he's going to walk halfway to second base.
Well, he just reared back and challenged Joe right here with the fastball. Joe swinging through it.
Now Willingham hoping to bring the game to Mauer, or Morneau rather, who's in the on-deck circle.
Willingham 1 for 3, a walk and a double.
The knee's a strike. Swing and a miss on a breaking pitch.
Just trying to hit it into the next county.
Oh, and 2. Twins down to their last strike. And eventually, Valverde will try to get that last strike. What do you want to bet me that the count's going to go full?
After he threw that pitch, he kind of tiptoed back very gingerly. He was quite a showman out there.
1 and 2. I got the count going full. This will be his 20th pitch.
You might be right. 2 sliders missing down and away. Might also have been that split finger that he gets set before he delivers. Tim Leland
trying to stay away.
In Baltimore, it was Stanhouse.
Oh, sure.
That drove Earl Weaver crazy. And the count is
3 and 2. Borno on deck.
21 pitches, 11 strikes, 11 balls, and that's taken 20 minutes. Threw Joe Mauer a 3-2 fastball. 4-run lead.
And so Valverde finally finishes the 9th inning. And the Twins open up the homestand with a 10-6 loss.
Twins took an early lead, and it was the Detroit Tigers that put up a lot of runs in a short amount of time.
Anthony LaPanta, here's an idea of how the struggles have hit the Detroit Tigers. It's been 5.5 weeks since they won back-to-back games. So the Twins will try to extend that streak of futility tomorrow.
Twins will hope they can keep the bats going. They just need to slow this Tiger offense. We'll show you how they'll need to do that. We'll hear from Gardy next on Twins Live.